Okay, then I'm predicting the Seattle Seahawks record prediction. So looking at their roster, Seahawks to me don't have the best roster. Obviously, their quarterbacks to me are still kind of a mystery. I'm not a huge fan of Geno Smith, and he didn't do that well last year. Offense, their skill position players obviously look really good with Walker, DK, Lockett, JSN, but the offensive line to me is still slightly concerning, especially the depth there. But to me, the Seahawks defense, I think, is the biggest problem. I think they really lack pass rushers. Leonard Williams is good, but other than that, they don't really have much. Their linebackers are concerning as well. And their secondary doesn't look that bad, especially with Tariq Woolen, and then Witherspoon is there, but their safeties um, are kind of new. I'm definitely worried about the Seahawks defense, especially with switching to from Pete Carroll to Mike McDonald. But you have your first game versus the Denver Broncos. Broncos to me are kind of a rebuilding team right now. They shedded a lot of talent. It's gonna be like either Zach Wilson or Bo Nix starting. Seahawks have a home field advantage. I gotta take the Seahawks here. Then you have them versus the um, Patriots. This one is going to be an interesting game for me. Patriots have a big home field advantage, but they're really not that talented. Seahawks, I'm not. Their defense should be able to match up well against the Patriots' lack of any weapons. But I don't think the Seahawks defense can stop Stevenson now that he's healthy, and I just think that the Patriots defense will progress faster, so they'll have a good defense. I'm going to take the Patriots upsetting the Seahawks. Then you have week 3 versus the Dolphins. Similar to last week, Dolphins, they're really explosive on offense, but they don't travel well on the road. I gotta take the Seahawks here. I don't Dolphins early in the season. I don't really trust the Dolphins defense either. I'm gonna take the Seahawks here with home field advantage. Then week 4 versus the Lions. Even though the Lions are a significantly more talented team, for some reason the Seahawks always beat the Lions, especially these last 2 years. So I'm gonna take the Seahawks here. Then you have them versus the Giants. Giants, another rebuilding team. Giants defense, I think, may give the Seahawks offense some trouble. Their Giants defense isn't that bad, but the Giants offense is complete shit. Um, Seahawks, even though I don't really like their defense, they should match up well versus the Giants. I'm gonna take the Seahawks here, especially with home field advantage. Seahawks like always have a big home field advantage due to their geographical location. Then week 6 versus the Niners. Even though they have home field advantage, it's a short week. Niners are just way more talented. I think those Niners pass rushers are gonna give Geno Smith or Sam Howell a lot of problems. I don't trust the Seahawks to stop Christian McCaffrey. I'm gonna take this Niners here. Similarly, you have Week 7 versus the Falcons. This one I think could be a very tight game. Falcons are to me a kind of a mystery team. They do have some good pieces that I don't think the Seahawks defense will be able to stop, like Bijan Robinson or Drake London or Kirk Cousins. I think the Falcons defense isn't great, but they're not bad either. So I think because Falcons are more well-rounded than the Seahawks, I'm going to take the Falcons here. Then you have them versus the Bills. Bills, even though they lost a lot of pieces, Kincaid and Knox, I think will be too much for the Seahawks defense to stop. And that Seahawks offense, I don't think Geno Smith will hold up well versus that Bills defense, which is good. So I'm going to take the Bills here. Then you have them versus the Rams. Um, Rams are coming off a mini bye, but I expect a split from that. I think the Rams are the more talented team, and they do play the Seahawks well, but Seahawks I think are going to steal their game. Their offense do have an occasional explosion game, so I'm going to take the Seahawks. Okay, and then you have your Week 10 bye, and then you have Week 11 versus the Niners. I do believe it's the first time in forever the Seahawks will actually split with the Niners here. I think Seahawks coming off a bye will have one of their offensive explosiveness, and I don't trust that Niners secondary enough to stop DK and Tyler Lockett. So I'm gonna have the Seahawks actually splitting with the Niners this year. So I have the Seahawks winning. Week 12 versus the Cardinals. These two teams usually play each other really tight, and I expect a split. And with the Cardinals coming off a bye, I'm gonna take the Cardinals here. Then you have them versus the Jets. Jets are also coming off a bye. Jets have big home field advantage. That defense, I think, is going to suffocate Geno Smith. And they're going to slow down those Seahawks skill position players. And Seahawks defense, I don't think will be enough. I'm going to take the Jets here. Then, like I said previously, against the Cardinals, Seahawks and Cardinals always split, so I'm taking the Seahawks here. Okay, then you have Week 15 versus the Packers. I think this one's going to be a good game. Packers are coming off a mini bye, which kind of negates the Seahawks home field advantage a little bit. But I think Jordan Love, those wide receivers will stress out the Seahawks defense too much, especially with Josh Jacobs. Seahawks, I just don't see them see their offense carrying them against a okay Packers defense. So I'm taking the Packers here. Then you have them versus the Vikings. Vikings, another team that I'm not a huge fan of. I think they're going to struggle traveling all the way to Seattle. Vikings defense may give a little bit of problem, but I don't really trust the Vikings offense. I think Seahawks secondary can cause problems for JJ McCarthy being a young quarterback, so I'm taking the Seahawks here. Then you have them versus the Bears. Bears big home field advantage on a Thursday night. Their team is more talented. They have a ton of skill position players, which I think will get the job done versus that Seahawks defense. So I'm taking the Bears here. Then you have them versus the Rams. I don't see the Seahawks sweeping the Rams. So I'm taking the Rams here. So in the end, I have the Seahawks going 8-9, 3-2 in the division, 5-4 home, and 3-5 away.